since we had to, well, according to the schedule, I don't know how she got there, but she wasn't supposed to be there, but it's fine. I'll just finish here. A few things from the oil press, and then we can continue. Yeah, that's about the wheat here. But before, I just want to finish with the olive. So we said when you anoint with olive oil, it's called Mashiach, the anointed one, and in Greek it's Christos. So it comes from the Hebrew, the anointed one, and that would be another use for olive oil in ancient times. And I suppose also in the temple in Jerusalem, those three main ingredients were represented because they had the menorah, candelabra, that they would light with olive oil every evening as they leave the temple. They had the 12 loaves of bread that they made from the grains, from the wheat, representing the tribes. And there was a special sacrifice that was libation of wine over the altar. So we actually have those three main ingredients in the temple, representing the abundance and blessing of the land. And from there, it's today on a lot of Jewish tables, every Friday evening, as they receive the Shabbat day. The lady of the house lights the candles, representing the olive oil. The men, when they come back from synagogue, there's a special blessing over the wine, Kiddush, and also a special blessing over the special bread for Shabbat, which is called challah. It's a bread that you make from the wheat, especially for the Shabbat day. So the grain, the oil, and the wine are still with us, and they represent the abundance and blessing of the land. And some people take it to talk about representing all our needs. Like, you know, the Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? We have our basic needs for food, and then once we get this, we have our existence secured, we can look after our spirit to feel good, and then something even higher to connect us to something even higher. And so we say those three really represent those needs. So you have the wheat and barley representing our basic needs for food, for existing, yes. And then you have the wine, which we say in Hebrew, wine will gladdens man's heart. So we always drink a little wine when we celebrate. As long as you drink it in moderation, it's good for you, for your spirit. And then the olive oil really represents the spirit. It represents our connection to the divine. So those three really represent all our needs. And so you can look at it like this. And I do want to finish with are you familiar with the emblem of the State of Israel? So that would be the menorah with an olive branch on each side. And that's really an image that's taken from the book of Zechariah. Zechariah was a prophet who had many visions. In one of his visions, he saw the menorah, the candelabra, with an olive tree on each side. The angel asked, "What do you see?" He did not know. Eventually, the angel answered, and at the end, he said, "Not by might and not by force, but by the Spirit." So really, the menorah is representing the Spirit. So it was there in the temple, not to light the temple, because they were lighting it every evening as they live. It represents the Spirit. Now, once the temple was destroyed, the Romans took the treasures of the temple. They paraded the Jews in a humiliation parade in Rome. They built a triumphal arch Titus Arch is still in Rome. You can go and see it, and it's still depicted on there. The Jewish slaves carrying the menorah on their shoulders. And so, once the state of Israel was established, they took that menorah from Titus Arch and they put it in the emblem of the state of Israel. And that's a strong statement, because where is the Roman Empire and where are we? We are dependent in our country, and the menorah that represents the spirit is our symbol. So that's a strong statement, and I say that it's the spirit that kept the Jewish people together all those years, and it's the spirit that brought them back here, and it's the spirit that keeps them here, and I'm sure it's the spirit that brought you here. So that menorah really represents that spirit. And last thing is, you know, when the kids in Israel finish high school, they have to go to serve in the army. And when they finish their basic training, there's a ceremony. Each one gets his rifle. But you know what else they get with the rifle?
Menorah?
The Bible.
The Bible.
They get the Bible. And that's kind of a statement. Not by might and not by force. By the Spirit. Okay? So
Zechariah 4:6.
Zechariah.
Zechariah 4:6.
Zechariah. Okay. All right. So here we have the threshing floor. It's not the season now for demonstrating anything, because you see we didn't even plow the field here. We need to plow. We are waiting for the rain, then we sow, then we'll pray, then we'll wait for it to grow, and then we'll come and harvest, and the whole process of separating chaff from kernel to make your daily bread. So that's why the statement is, with the sweat of your brow you shall make bread, because it's such a long process and also not very certain, because I have this seeds of wheat in my hand, and I can make bread for my family, or I can now throw it to the field and hope that it will grow. So that's why we say, הזורעים בדמעה ברינה יקצרו. Those who are sowing, they are crying. But when they are ripening with joy, they are ripening with joy. Because when you are sowing, you don't know. You depend on God, you trust God. It's an act of faith. Actually, sowing your field, it's an act of faith. Because I'm just throwing it to the air. And I really have faith that it will grow and it will give me the bread that I need, okay? So here we just demonstrate the whole process, and so you have to use your imagination, because we don't have wheat here, but we do have here the threshing sledge, that usually there will be a heap of sheep here. And the animal will carry it round and round. It will break them with this. And then you have the winnowing fork, which will, again, use your imagination. You throw it to the wind. Chaff goes with the wind. Kernels fall down. Then I take and sift them here, and sift it till I get only the grains, and only then can I start grinding over there. That's a hand flour mill over there. So it's a long process before I can even start making my daily bread. So that's the whole idea.
Would you dry the wheat out? Would already be dry on the stem, right? And then you would grind it, or would it still have moisture in it?
No, it has to be dry. Yes. So So that's in Hebrew. This place called Gorem. That's the place that Ruth met Boaz at the threshing floor.
The grinding floor.
Yes,
Threshing floor.
because he was the landlord and he came to look after the work. And she, according to the Jewish law, a landlord, when he is harvesting, they has to live at the corners or the leftovers or whatever falls, needs to leave it for the poor. So she came in as a poor lady looking for the leftovers, and that's where she met Boaz, who was the landlord. And so they are the family of David, which is the family of Jesus. So it all started here at the threshing floor. The
Another love
Gorem.
story.
Yes.
The well and the floor.
Yes. And before you go, I do want you to give you some activity. Remember, we were talking about the shaked. It's the tree, the almond tree. We said, what's a shaked? Diligent, hard work. So I know that you are shkedim. You are hardworking, right?
Oh, yeah.
You are. And so there's some work for you here. We grow here a very, very typical little plant, which is called hyssop.
Hyssop. Okay.
Hyssop. It's very common plant. It doesn't look like much. Like it looks like weed. But we grow it and we cultivate it here. We dry the leaves and we bring it to our groups to prepare their own condiment from hyssop. It's most famous for its Arabic name, za'atar. It's a very famous condiment, za'atar, and it's also a symbol for humility in the Bible because it's not demanding at all. It can grow in the rock. It does not need a lot of soil, does not need a lot of water, and it gives you many good things. First of all, it smells great, you soon see. Second, you eat it. Third, it's therapeutic. It's medicinal. It's antibiotics from nature. So that's why it's a symbol for humility. Not demanding, very giving. So many times in the Bible when they mention hyssop, it has to do with humility. For example, when Jesus is on the cross, Roman soldier takes a branch of hyssop to put in the vinegar to wet Jesus' lips. Why does he use hyssop? Symbol for humility. Okay? So I think we'll have to work in, unless the other group already left, I don't think so. We'll have to work in pairs. Each one will get, each pair, a mortar and pestle and some dry leaves of hyssop. You just need to take the stems out and you grind it. You make it powdery and then I'll give you small little plastic bags. You can take it home as a souvenir and you can have a biblical snack.
Wow.
What's biblical? Thank you.
Let me hand it out.
Yeah, put it up. You can put it down here, and then we can distribute it. Mortar and pestle, and each two. No, just take the stems out, and you start grinding. Yeah, and biblical snack would be some bread, olive oil, and some salt. You can make toast, you can use pita to dip it in pita, it's great. I'm sure you saw it in your hotel, didn't you?
Pass it on.
In restaurants, yes. Just take the stems out.
Pass it back. Oh, I guess we forgot to get one.
Somewhere back here.
Let it back. Here.
So what are we supposed to do?
Take the stems out. Wait a minute, we'll take a picture.
Take the stems out. Open your hand.
Any stems in there? Looks like it's already been pulverized to me.
Take the stem, well, better to take the stems out, but if you don't take them out, it's also fine, you won't die. Okay, so that's in Hebrew called Ezov. In Arabic, which is the popular name, is the Arabic name Za'atar. Za'atar, Hyssop in English.
How do you spell that in English?
Hyssop.
In the Bible.
Ezov.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't hear you grinding. So grinding would be best done on the rock or on the bench to get resistant, and you do it like small circles at the edge. Small circles like this, small ones, and then a big one, and that way you get it powdery. So yeah, so what we do, we take olive oil, we put some salt and some hyssop, and we dip pita bread.
Oh.
Oh, you make a dough, and you sprinkle some olive oil and some hyssop.
It's almost
Some
like a
people add
paste. It's
sweet
kind of like a
sugar,
paste.
Some people add sesame seeds.
It's kind of fuzzy like
Beef stew.
asbestos.
Did you make it tea out?
Yes, you can make it. It's really
fuzzy
good
like
if you have a
asbestos.
stomach pain or if you get a cold. So you can make an infusion.
Asbestos inside.
You let it in hot water for 5 minutes and then you drink.
Isn't hyssop is part of the Passover Seder, isn't it? Isn't hyssop part of the Passover Seder?
That's right. Hyssop is mentioned in the 10 plagues. At the last plague of the firstborn, they had to color their doorposts, and they used hyssop as a brush.
Right.
Why did they use hyssop? To remember to be humble in front of God and save them from this plague.
Other than Zola Levitt.
Will they let us bring this home?
Yes, you put it in your suitcase.
Is this okay? How soft is it?
Yeah, well, it's okay. Guys, it's not like it's not going down if it's not very, very powdery. It's still okay. We can still grind it. Yeah, you can grind it.
Oh, do we get this?
Yeah, you get to take it home with you.
We get to keep this?
No, I don't think you get to keep the cup. She's giving you some
Oh, no.
plastic bags.
Good question.
So good.
Anyone? Plastic bag? Yes, please.
The smell.
Once you finish, put it in your suitcase. Good.
Make your suitcase smell good.
Show you the hyssop.
What?
Yeah, that's good.
You said something?
Here.
I have a bag.
Well, there are few people who have spoons, so if you have problem with your fingers, I give you permission to use your fingers, but there are also few people who have spoons here, so you can use the spoons. Yes, of course.
I need a spoon.
Okay, who needs a spoon?
spoon does something done with it, or not me.
Herb form, maybe we can't.
You might want to get started with.
What?
You might want to get started with your fingers. You're just pinching it and putting it in.
I don't know because it's not. You gotta do the know that. 8 pinches of it.
Eat it, and then it has a good smell. And then it's therapeutic, medicinal.
Most of it's on the ground.
It's antibiotics of nature. Yes. Antifungal, you usually would take it as drops of oil, as essential oil.
I should try that.
Can you grab another plastic bag?
Yes, of course.
Spiced up your pants there, huh?
Excellent.
He's got hyssop pants.
I want to ask Kay. Kay, when she gets done, you can have that.
She's got a spoon. Okay, perfect. I'll wait till she gets done.
But you need a spoon?
Okay, guys, are you okay?
Yeah, you can get it.
If you need more plastic bags, no problem. There's enough.
They're not. You think they'll be suspicious? We're trying to smuggle drugs.
Hey, I'm selling my bag, guys. $1,000 a bag.
A nickel. That's a dime bag.
Dime bag. Is that what they call it?
We need to hide it in there because it's not just put it in.
That's felan.
You know, there is really, don't smell that good stuff though.
Felan is the low hills. Low hills. Felan.
So this is Samaria?
Have they stopped her?
Maybe it can be considered part of Samaria, but those are the foothills. Foothills of Jerusalem.
Oh, so this is the foothills of Jerusalem?
Yes. Okay, mortar and pestle back. We're gonna walk up to the bus.